Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. Okay, well, I will erase this data. So this is 100% for Snake Pass. As opposed to like Diddy Kong Racing and Sonic, after this game will seem a lot slower. But it's a quite difficult run, actually, with how precision-based it is. We're going to just jump right into it. If you're ready with the timer, 3, 2, 1, go. So the game starts out here with this little pillar drops down here, and this hummingbird starts freaking out. And he's flying back here saying, "Noodle, Noodle." So Noodle with an N is the name of the snake that you control, and the hummingbird is named Doodle with a D. And he says, we need to go check out this gate. We need to fix it. But we're gonna go over. We're gonna be collecting everything in here. So first, we're gonna slither over here and grab this coin. Each level has 5 what are called guardian coins and 20 wisps. I sometimes call them water bubbles because that's what I first called them when I was running this game, before I knew they were called wisps. But this game is very, very precision-based. I wouldn't say it's on the level of, say, QWOP or Getting Over It, but it's definitely a game where you have to learn the controls, and that's the main part of it, is figuring out the controls. I'm going to stall here and let my tail grab a coin behind me. And this is just kind of teaching you how to control. We can kind of lift our head up here to get over stairs. You can also call Doodle to pick you up, at least the back half of you. There's a water bubble on the side over here I'm going to get by going over the side of there. And here's where we find out what's wrong. You see there's a green and a yellow keystone, what they're called, and the pink one's missing, so we gotta go snag it and bring it back. Yeah, each level has 5 guardian coins, 20 wisps, and there's normally 3 different keystones. This first level just has 1, but every other level is going to have 3. And we're going to bring it back over here. And I put it on this pedestal first before I grab this final coin over here, because there's a little bit of animation for the portal opening up. And so if I grab the coin and then activate it, I'd have to sit there and just wait. So just saves a little bit of time to go and activate it and then go grab that last coin. So this game has 15 different levels, and it spans 4 different elemental types. So we're in the earth type levels. There's also going to be water, fire, and then wind. And the first 3 levels have a little cutscene at the beginning, just kind of set the mood. And then after the 4th level onward, we'll just kind of go, and you know what to do at that point. Just collect things and get to the portal. You'll notice that when I'm moving, I'm slithering back and forth. The game actually does tell you to go back and forth to actually move. If you try to just go straight, you will not move at all. Oh, this is close. Okay. Overshot that just a little bit. But if you just try to go straight, you will like have no momentum whatsoever. Oh, I just missed that. So this level is like cutscenes. The level. There are 5 of them, and we're gonna skip all but that one right there because the cutscene trigger bleeds over into where the hitbox is for that keystone, so we can't really avoid it. But there are going to be some other ones that we're going to skip, and I'll explain when we get to those. We'll snag that, and then going up this ladder is not fun. It's kind of a little finicky. But we're good. And then there's a coin up here we're going to snag. Get this, and we can jump over here. So there's a cutscene right in front of me at this bamboo, so I'm going to just kind of get right here and just barely snag that and try and get away so that cutscene doesn't trigger. And then we're going through this little tunnel, grab stuff.
Do I have time to read out a donation real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Alrighty. We got a $10 donation from Tiger, who says, Noodle is red, Doodle is teal, Yoshi should be pink, I feel.
Thanks, Tiger.
That's towards Yoshi being pink in Yoshi's story, so sorry about that green donation.
Green's just got to donate 11 now. So there's the bamboo to my left. There's a cutscene there where Doodle tries to tell you how to slither up that, and my tail slipped off the right side there, so I have to reset this. But there's like a specific way the game wants you to go through certain bamboo. That's like the most efficient. And there's another cutscene to my left on that bamboo. But that was all the cutscenes that we skipped, so now we just gotta grab this coin, one more wisp, and we'll be done with this level. So the start of the next level has my favorite cutscene in the game, so I'm just going to kind of let it play out, and I'll talk about why it's my favorite cutscene after that. It's just a cute one. Yeah, you get like this happy music going on, and everything's perfect, and all of a sudden, that little shadow comes, I guess a big shadow, and ruins everything. And I just love Doodle's little "What was that?" I can't do it like he does. I guess I didn't really... I went over moving back and forth, but I didn't really go over the basic movement of this game. I'm playing on the Switch version, and you use... didn't make that. You use ZR to actually move forward, and you use the left analog stick to angle yourself in all directions. You can pick up the back half of your body by calling Doodle with Y. You can raise your head up with A, and the right joystick manipulates the camera. The camera is interesting in this game, to say the least. A lot of people say it's the worst thing about this game that have played it. The camera really tries to follow you. It tries to be smart and say, okay, well, you're going over here, you definitely need to look this way. But the problem with the camera, and we'll actually see a little bit of the properties of it coming up in a second, are the camera cannot go through any objects. So if it's trying to follow you and it runs into something, it'll like zoom in or out super far. Oh, good. There's a little invisible hitbox on that sign there that can sometimes kill your momentum.
Do I have time to read another donation?
Of course.
We have an update on the Yoshi bidding war. RDV vs. the World donates $10 and just says green, bringing the total for green up to $11 now.
Let's keep it going. So here we'll have, you'll see the camera when I get into this tunnel. It's got nowhere to go, so it zooms in super close. You can actually see all the little scales on Noodle's head. So he is actually pretty textured. We're going to try and make this leap right here. Okay, cool. That just saves a little bit of time collecting that. And this will be another case where I activate the portal and then grab an item while the portal's actually opening up. Leave that note. And we have our mysterious giant shadow. Oh no! What is it going to be? Okay, so we got one more level in the Earth realm. This one's called Boldor's Realm. No relation to the Pokemon or anything. It's like BOL-DER. And so each of the four realms, elemental realms, has a guardian associated with it. So this is all Boldor's stuff, and he's the guardian, or she, I don't know. Maybe it's genderless, I don't know. But we'll get a little visit from Boldor at the end of this, essentially thanking us for restoring the portals back to where they were. This is also one of the first levels where they start putting items over like nothing. So you see, if I fall, I'm just going to die. And so it's kind of forcing you at this point to be really sure of your controls. And yeah, there's I don't know if I would call it a glitch in this game, but there's an interesting little property coming up about. So I collected this keystone. You saw me get it, and what I just landed on is a save point. However, I don't have possession of the keystone in my inventory until it pops up on the screen. So if for some reason I were to die right now, even though I got that save point after I collected the keystone, I would have to go back and recollect it. It's only relevant in a couple places, but it can be really annoying. Gonna get up that real fast. And this is also going to be, in a little bit, our first example of what are walls. There are certain walls in this game that, if they're slightly sloped, so they're not like 90 degrees exactly, or overhanging, then you can sometimes slither up them. and I'll be doing that in a little bit to get to the pink keystone. You see, when I'm going up certain bamboo things, I'm wrapping around them. You basically need anchor points as you're going up, or you just will kind of slip down. And so the main, I guess, slogan or whatever for this game is "Think like a snake," and it's really true because you can't just kind of force yourself up things. You do have to create these little anchor points, like I'm doing here.
Do I have another sec for donations here?
Yeah, sure.
So, another update on the Yoshi War. Vitaro donates $10 and says, donating on behalf of my friend N0gard during his Snake Pass run. Have to make sure pink, the best Yoshi color, reclaims to the lead. Good luck, N0gard, and keep up the great commentary.
Thanks,
But
Vitaro.
then, an anonymous donator donated $25 and just says Cyan. So Cyan is currently in the lead with 25.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to both donators.
So, yeah, a lot happened during that donation reading. I just kind of slithered up a wall. I don't think the developers intended that, but we're going to do it anyway. It's in a few other places as well. And I kind of, there was, with the yellow keystone back there, you're supposed to kind of go around the bamboo and get to it from the back, but because of that little property with the walls, you can kind of skip that and just go straight up it. Alright, so here we're going to have our first cutscene at the end of the realms. After we place these keystones, I'm just going to kind of chill out here, and we'll be visited by Boldor. So he's going to give us like their prized possession, which is this tiny little rock, I guess. I don't really know what it is. That's Boldor's realm done. Now we're going to move on to the water realm, which is called Soggy's realm. SOG-GEE. So if you know me, you know that this whole realm has the best music. As far as the music goes, it was actually written by David Wise. So you know, we just had Diddy Kong Racing featuring his music. So this is more of his music. Are we gonna be okay? Maybe. Nope. Unfortunate. So that coin is actually deceptively difficult to get. Like this little spot right there is angled down, so if you go slightly too far, then your body just slips off and you can't control it. That's okay. If I were to have a death, that's a really good one to have, because it's really quick. That I'd be lying if I said I didn't go to sleep to this music like every night, because I love it so much and it's so relaxing. And the whole Snake Pass speedrunning community is like super nice, and I think it's just part of it is because they're subjected to David Wise's music just constantly. So I noticed like the Banjo-Kazooie community, or not Banjo-Kazooie, sorry, the Donkey Kong community and the Diddy Kong Racing, they're all nice too. A common factor? Maybe? So here we have our first switch, as Doodle yelled out earlier. That one's a weight-based switch. So you just get enough of your body on it, and it'll go down. This level introduces us to 3 different types of switches. And we just need to find a spot to slither up through. Okay. The next one that we're going to come across is a one where we roll a ball, and it's got to land in a certain location. And the camera is kind of zooming out super far right now because it's running into that bamboo, like I was talking about earlier, where it can't go through certain objects. A property about water is you are faster in water, just like, I guess, an actual snake. Sometimes that can be a little strange when you're exiting water, so you got half your body on land and half in water or something. Especially when you're trying to grip some bamboo, it can really mess up your speed. We're going to let our tail dangle down there to get this coin. Okay. Any part of Noodle's body can collect any items, so we'll be utilizing this. All right, 3, 2, 1, boop. Always got to boop that rock. I'm just going to roll down here to this. Hopefully it plays nice. Yeah, it's good. This game does rely on the Unreal Engine physics, and so sometimes that ball will just decide to roll in a completely different spot, and you're like, well, now it's nowhere near where it needs to go, and you got to kind of correct it. And then we're about to come up to our last switch up here, at least for this level. But first, we got to come down here and grab a coin. They put this convenient hole down here so our tail can just kind of slide through and get it.
Do I have time for another update on the Yoshi War?
Sure thing.
So, another anonymous donator has donated another $25 towards Cyan. So Cyan is in a huge lead at this point. If you want to get that back to green, gonna have to start working for it.
So there we just came across the last switch. That's a pull switch. So you just there are 2 different ways to activate it. You can wrap around like I just did and essentially just pull onto it. The other one is if you're really accurate going up to it, then you can just kind of push your face right into the side of it, and you can kind of just push it like there. But the only reason, or you just have to try it yourself to see how difficult it is, I guess, because it is not easy to be that precise to angle that thing. We got one more coin, and then you may have noticed earlier when I did the first switch that I skipped the green keystone, but we're going to get it in a kind of a cool way. I don't know if this was developer intended or not. It really seems like it, but if we just go over the middle bamboo here, our tail falls through, and if we call Doodle, he'll go down there and pick it up for us. So that lets us get that last keystone without doing anything. Alright, so that's level 5 down. So we got 10 more to go. Yeah, if you have any questions about the game itself, feel free to ask. Sure, go ahead. Thank you very much. So this level, especially for first-time players, I think this is the biggest difficulty spike in the entire game. It introduces bamboo that moves on you, for one, but it also introduces spikes that you may have seen in passing when I was on the earlier part of the level. We'll get a lot more spikes a little bit later. But near the end of this level, there's a quite difficult bamboo sequence. It's all angled in bad ways, and if you're not absolutely fluid on the controls at that point, then it's really difficult to stay on that. And the frustrating thing about it is when you slip off, you fall into the water and you just kind of gotta get back up there. It's not like, oh, you fell off and you died and you respawn at the save point. It's just kind of annoying to get there. I think it took me close to an hour to get past this level at that very end. Right here, I'm going to do a trick called bird coiling. Normally you need anchor points to go up, like just to go vertically. But if you call Doodle and wrap around at a not super precise, but a decent angle, then you can kind of slither up there. And I'm going to do it again here in a second so you can see it a little better. But really, you could go up like a pole that's infinitely tall. Okay, we got that one. And I mentioned spikes. You like spikes? There are a bunch of spikes right there. So, don't touch them. I almost touched them. There's so I don't really go into any slides or anything in this run. You do in any percent a little bit, but slides have an interesting property. They add momentum to your speed. I guess the effect is that you're sliding down them, but really it works if you just touch them anywhere. So if you're on the outside of it, or if you're even trying to slither up one, then it'll add a lot more momentum to your normal speed. This is the bamboo spot I was talking about. I'm cheating and going up this way, so I don't have to do it because it's hard. So this is a lot faster. But even after you navigate through all of that and get up here, you still don't have a save point or anything. And you have to traverse all those spikes on my left before you can get the keystone.
Do I have time for a couple more donations?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty, so first we have $10 from Argon, who says, "Hey N0gard, good luck on the speed run. I hope you don't make too many miss snakes." And if you thought the Yoshi War was spicy before, oh boy. First of all, eClout45 donates $10 and says, "Speedrunning and Red Panda, two of my favorite things. Good luck to all the runners today, and put this to Cyan Yoshi, the best Yoshi." And Kagutsuchi donates $50 and says, "Donating to support N0gard and balance out this Yoshi bid war. $50 to yellow for my wife's favorite color. Good luck to N0gard and all the other runners." And the last one, Literal Grill, Lynn, says, or donates $1 and says, "What? A marathon runner donating to their own marathon? Gasp! Put this towards rocking that Japanese soundtrack in Sonic CD."
This is awesome. Keep the Yoshi War going, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much to all the donators. Shout out to Kagutsuchi for the 50.
Yeah, Kagutsuchi is a real life friend of mine. He's pretty awesome. So thank you, Kagutsuchi.
Just as an update on all the colors, cyan is at $60, yellow is at $50, pink is at $20, and green is at $11. So if you want your favorite color to get in, that's what you got to do.
So on this level, Yeah, I'm going backwards through this little section. It's because it's faster to kind of fall onto things instead of having to climb them. And I'm convinced that the makers of this game had some kind of speed running in mind, because there's literally no reason for them to put that rock there that I used to get back here, unless they thought, oh, this is kind of cool, maybe someone will figure this out and use it to get back here. I mean, I just don't see any reason why that exists. And there are a few other things that I see that I'm like, you put that in here, like, because you wanted people to find it and use it. That's clever. I can see the developer being like, oh no, that was a mistake, we just didn't. This is really bad timing on this. Oh, that actually worked perfectly. I was worried about that. Yeah, it's like all this, you got all these moving bamboo cycles, we just kind of don't have to wait on them, we can just fall and ignore them. I know that during development they experimented a lot with different snakes, because the guy that made this game or had the concept for it, Sebastian Leese, I apologize if I don't know how to say your last name. It's like Liesse, but he was playing around with the Unreal Engine, and he had a rope that he messed up the physics on, and when it fell, he said it reminded him of a piece of noodle instead. And he kind of got the idea for a game based off the physics that he had kind of messed up. And he wanted it to be a snake game, and he kind of had the idea to model it after the original Snake, where you collect things and you like grow in size. But as he was developing it, he wanted the freedom of the player to be able to kind of explore. And as far as level design, it was really difficult to make stuff later on in the level that you needed like a larger snake size to traverse it. That also didn't trivialize the stuff early on. And so he kind of scrapped that idea and just went with a single size for the snake and collecting things. But the design that they made for Noodle is, I think it's pretty cute. I mean, I love the snake. Oh, and this is going to be our first instance of moving through cutscenes. Normally a cutscene you're locked into place, but with this one and a couple others, you can actually move during it. And so we're going to try and collect that water bubble and get into this water just to save a few seconds. This is the worst switch in the game. So normally, like I was saying earlier, this is the pull switch. You have to grip it and pull it, or get a certain amount of your body onto it and push it. With the properties of water, you're faster, and you can't coil around yourself as tightly. Whereas on land, you're a little slower, but you can coil tighter. But because of the coiling aspect, you can't actually curl around that switch and grip it and pull it, so you just kind of have to shove your face against it a few times and make it go. And usually I can get it on just one try, but that one took two. And sometimes getting out of water, like on a bamboo, can be a little dicey because you've got like... can we make it? Ah, unfortunate. Because the game is using like half your momentum from the water and half from the land, and it can really mess up your timing and your coiling around certain things. This is one of my friends called the Fly Swatter. I kind of like that name. So we're gonna ride this up, and then the coin that I'm about to get Oh, it took me a long time to come up with a consistent strategy for this one. But we're going to go around the top one, go on the third one, and curl around the left, and our tail's going to fall through and snag it, and then we can use this corner to get up. And then we have not that scary of a leap, but if we were to miss this leap coming up here, that'd be like a minute and a half lost. Okay, that's close. Yeah. And I aim toward that pillar and go to the right a little bit because, like I was saying, you can't move during cutscenes, so if I activated this cutscene while too much of my body was off the side, then I would just kind of fall to my death, and I couldn't do anything about it. Now we're going to our last level in Soggy's realm. And I thought this was a pretty mean wisp hidden back here. Because, I mean, that one's just kind of out there by itself. Why would you go over there? And the way this level is designed, you'll see like a little square window in front of me. Really, that's like a long tunnel that after you get the final keystone, you kind of go through that tunnel and pop out right here and you're right at the end. But there's only one item in here, and it's this wisp. And so if we grab that, then I don't need to go in this tunnel anymore. And so when I get the final keystone later, I can just jump over a wall and be at the end instead of having to traverse through all that. And this green keystone coming up is deceptively difficult. It looks really easy, but it's another case where part of your body is in water and you're trying to latch onto bamboo at the same time. And so you kind of have to just take it a little slower than normal to make sure you get the right angle to go up. And I hope you liked like moving and rotating bamboo, because this is where they introduced it in the last level, but this is the first level where they put it over nothing. So if you weren't comfortable with it beforehand, then you better get comfortable pretty quickly, because you'll just die if you can't traverse it.
So how accurate would you say this game is to how snakes actually move?
Probably not, honestly, because you really only have control of Noodle's head, and the rest of his body just kind of follows it. And so you get to points where it's like, well, a normal snake would, like use his tail muscles or his stomach muscles to not fall here, but you have no control over those. But as far as the idea of like using anchor points and everything to get around and this slithering back and forth, I think that's pretty accurate. Alright, this keystone was giving me trouble earlier, so let's see if we can not mess it up. So we got more of our friend, the rotating bamboo, over nothing. I'm gonna try and get my body as straight as possible. And I'm in a bad spot. Okay, we didn't die. That's the important thing. Yeah, sometimes your body falls in a strange way onto that, and you just gotta improvise on the spot. We're gonna do another bird coil here. The intended method to get this is to go across, and there's a way to get up, like right in front of me up there. And then you kind of go across the top of it. A little secret place down here that's got a coin. And then I really hate these blocks a lot. I'll demonstrate it a little bit, but when you're on them, if you try to use Doodle to pick you up, Noodle just freaks out like this. And so it's like, it's hard to traverse these because they move fast enough that you can't get enough of your body on them to continue, and then you can't use Doodle at all as well because of that little thing. It's just kind of weird. Noodle is actually a vegetarian. The game specifically says that. Don't ask me how that works, but he's a vegetarian snake, which is probably why these two are friends. And there's an arcade mode in this game that showed up at the last release, and you collect a bunch of fruit. So this, you see there's a little hole there. There's a ball that you're supposed to roll, and that opens a passageway to that tunnel I mentioned earlier, that you can go through it. And we're going to let our tail get something in the water there as this cutscene plays. But the only randomness that I know in this game is where the ball spawns in that water. I don't know why, but it's completely random. As far as I can tell, you didn't even see it when I went down there. Sometimes it's like right next to the switch, sometimes it's way to the left, and you're like, why are you in there? But literally there's no randomness in this game. It's all execution, which is the main reason why I love playing this game so much. Is I would hate to have my best run possible, and then it's like, oh well, that boss, gave me a terrible pattern, or that enemy decided to go left instead of right in this one screen, so that cost me this many seconds, and so I missed my PB or something because of that. But with this game, it's if you mess something up or if you die, it's your fault. There's no randomness. So here we're going to Cinder's realm, the fire one. We're not going to see much of the fire, and or I guess it's called hot coals. I'll call it lava just because it's easier to say, I guess, even though they're the same number of syllables. We have a different switch here. I think we showed that one earlier in level 7. I think it was 7. Yeah. But there's another switch on the platform above me, and that raises this platform up. But we're going to abuse that property I mentioned earlier about certain walls you can go up. So we're going to get high up here, grab our tail with Doodle, and you can, if you aim for this corner, you can barely make it up here. And the whole point of the beginning of this level is to make this cycle. So we want to get over to here before this thing rotates around, so we can get onto it. And to kind of go along with what I was saying with no randomness, every level starts with global timers on all the cycles. So if you execute everything properly, you'll always make the correct cycles that you need. Which means sometimes a little mistake early on can cost you several seconds later, because you got to wait for a cycle that you wouldn't normally have to wait on. Yeah, if anyone hasn't heard of this game or tried it out, I would definitely encourage you to, because it's quite difficult, actually. I mean, this game took me probably close to 15 or 20 hours to beat when I first played it. Maybe even longer than that, just because some of the levels are or some of the items specifically are just that hard to get, but I'm also a completionist, so I had to 100% it when I first got it, and hopefully our tail cooperates on this one. I want it to fall down here and get that water bubble. Okay, good. We're about to get to something that, it's a little glitch, I guess, that I kind of discovered accidentally. I call it lava bounce, and I might show it off in a little bit later level. It doesn't save any time, but it looks cool. But basically, these are hot coals down here, and when you hit them, it's not gonna be high enough. Unfortunate. That still showed it off a little bit, but when you hit the hot coals, Noodle bounces up a little bit, because when you hit spikes early on in the water levels, you die instantly, but with those, it gives you a little bit of time to go, like, oh crap, I'm burning, and give you time to get to safety. And so if you hit those hot coals and call Doodle at the correct time, then the two vertical momentums like kind of combine into each other. And so you get the bounce from the hot coals, and you get the extra height from Doodle picking you up, and you can kind of go up a lot higher than you're supposed to. And how high you go depends on how far you fall when you're landing in the hot coals. And so on 2 levels from now, we're gonna jump from a pretty high spot, and we're gonna hopefully go super high. The timing is kind of tight on it, so hopefully I'll get it. Come on. Yeah, little things like getting up here are they're really precise, and if you're off a little bit, you can lose a lot of time to correcting yourself. The current world record for this game is 131.26 by me. I've got the estimate set at 140, and that's for basically safety on one particular level that we'll get to. It's level 12. But if I have a good level 12, then this has the potential to hit world record, but we'll see. This is my least favorite keystone in the game, because this tree gets in the way, and it's perfectly spaced height-wise that it's hard to get it by curling up normally. You have to grab Doodle and just take a little bit of extra time to it. You see we're missing one water bubble. This is another case where I can grab it while this cutscene happens. Or I guess not really a cutscene, but while the animation for that portal opens up. And that just saves a little bit of a few seconds just to not have to wait on that. Alright, so if you the last level, you could pretty much avoid all the lava. So if you were used to spikes and you see the lava or the hot coals and you're like, oh crap, I can't touch that, I'm gonna die. This level kind of puts items directly over it, so I guess to show you that in case you avoided it like the plague early on, this will kind of show you that, oh, it's okay, you can still touch it and it's okay. Beginning of this level, I'm trying to make a cycle, so hopefully I can get to it in time. We got a coin over here, and then a wisp at the bottom of this slide. And I'm trying to get to this as it's back here in the back right corner, so I can get up that and get this water bubble. And if I'm fast enough, I can also use this as well to get up here and snag this. And then if all that went well, which it did, then that little platform is right there for me. So that went really well. I'm gonna do a little secret down here, and this has a coin and a water bubble in it. This part is actually a lot harder than it looks, mainly because the camera just doesn't know where to go. And so if the camera decides to like flip around somewhere, then you have to your body is going to start going the new direction based on the camera. So you have to essentially account for that as fast as possible. Hi, Crab. I didn't mean to scare you. The tail's just going to bounce in the fire there for a little bit. Never had the camera go that way before. That's cool. What's that? Let's go back and snag it. So here, I'm going to slip off here and just take a little bit of time. There's a water bubble down there that I'm going to let my body get by falling. And there's a switch to my left that you're supposed to use to make a platform come out here, but if you line it up and jump appropriately, you can do that and avoid it. I'm sorry, Crab. I'm just scaring all the crabs today. And we're about to get to the end of this level is not easy. I've actually, looks like I got a pretty good cycle for this thing. But there's this rolling thing of bamboo here, and we're going to try and grab both of the water bubbles on the way up. And if we do, then we don't have to use that to get down back to the portal at the end of the level. So we can just kind of jump to it. Or, I guess we'll just fall to it. Get that. And then this coin coming up is like super mean, and but it's actually way easier to get than I originally thought. It's underneath this bridge, which, I mean, that's mean. But if you just kind of go for maybe. No, I said that. There we go. You think that you might have to like grip that bridge and dangle underneath it and then somehow get to safety, but you can just kind of shove your body directly toward it, and the momentum will swing your tail far enough to get it. Just eat our tail for a little bit. So the last 5 levels are, I mean, they're the last 5 for a reason. They're quite difficult. So level 11 here, this is going to be where I have the much better version of that lava bounce that I was talking about earlier. But this is also a very cycle-based level. So hopefully I can get fast enough at the beginning to make the cycle that I want to. I'm going to go over here, get over this wall,
So does this game actually have a plot to it, or is it mostly just running around being a snake?
The plot is kind of that something is going around and destroying. I wouldn't say destroying, but at least causing some chaos to the levels. Like the keystones are missing from the portals, and the portals are what connects the entire realm together. And I was not fast enough at the beginning to make this cycle. That's okay. So yeah, basically what we're doing here is just restoring all the portals so that we can travel between the different realms. But yeah, as far as like a plot or anything, no, there's not really too much of one. It gives you a basic understanding of the controls and a very loose plot and says, go!
Just so everyone is aware, we are one retweet away from our retweet incentive for Stormy Ascent. So if you have a Twitter and you have not retweeted that yet, and you want to see some great Bandicoot, get that retweeted.
I just showed up. That's actually okay. I'm trying to make this in one cycle. Looks like I got it barely. Cool. That water bubble took me a long time to figure out a consistent method for. Woohoo! Okay, hopefully I can get over here before this platform goes back up. It's gonna be close. Oh, darn. Okay, so here's the big lava bounce I was talking about. After I collect this, hopefully I don't die, because that would kind of suck. But I'm gonna sleep up here, and didn't do it as much as I wanted it to, but the important thing is that we got the keystone up there with our tail. But yeah, you can bounce like really high on that, and it's pretty interesting. How's that Yoshi war going?
Cyan is still in the lead at 60, with yellow behind it by 10.
Alright. So the end of this level is actually really cool. There are 3 different switches that you have to activate, and when you do, there's a ball up there you might see at the top of the screen, and that rolls down a specific bamboo path. Whoops. That rolls down a specific bamboo path to activate a pillar of bamboo so that you can reach that yellow keystone over there. You can't normally get up to it, but thanks to the magic properties of sloped walls, we can look over here and see that this pillar is kind of leaning a little bit, and because of that, we can just go up it like this. And once we're up here, we can leap far enough to collect that. That avoids having to activate all those switches. I actually found that on my own, and I was really happy about it, and went to go share it with the Snake Pass community, and they all knew about it already and were utilizing it, and I was like, oh, I thought I found something cool. I did, I just didn't find it first. Alright, so this level coming up it's the reason why the estimate for this game is at 1 hour and 40 instead of like closer to what my like personal best time is. because there's one trick in this level that if I mess it up, then I lose about 3 minutes, which sucks. But it is the fastest way to do it, and hopefully it'll go okay. Yeah, I jokingly have this this labeled in my live split as the run killer, because it basically is. And what sucks is that it's just like an hour and 1 minute into the run, like when I get to that point, and it's just like, jeez. This, we're gonna activate this switch and try and grab this, and then make it to this platform before it goes away. That switch called this platform up. Okay, that's fine. And then there's a coin up there on the top left that we need to jump back onto this platform and get on the top of it to get up to it. It's a pretty sneaky little coin that took quite a while for us to find when I was trying to play this game originally. Yeah, I joke when I run this game normally that the run begins here. And because it's got a difficult little trick coming up that if I nail it alright, then it'll be great and won't look that bad. But there's a water bubble over the side here that I'm gonna try and get with my tail. Awesome. That was perfect, so I'm gonna just not talk about how difficult that is and just go on. Alright, this water wheel is awful. A common theme is that rotating bamboo is awful. Just in general. Come on. Come on. And we got a coin here. Oh boy, that's close. Your tail can get caught on that water wheel thing and kill your momentum, and if you don't leap far enough, then you'll not make that jump. So I got a save point right before the little water wheel. That's the only one I'm going to get for the rest of the level, and the trick that I'm doing is pretty far away, which is unfortunate. But hopefully it just goes perfectly fine, and I'll be happy, and we can go on. This is the only level that I'm really scared about in this run, but it's, like I said, it's why I put the time up to 1 hour 40, just to account for this, and a few other potential deaths along the way. Normally, when you get up here, there are these switches here that you grab and rotate them. But the method that I'm using doesn't turn those at all, which makes it a little faster, but at the same time is way more dangerous. Yeah, the switches rotate the towers that I'm traversing at the moment. And you're supposed to kind of use them in such a way that it's easier to get across them. But if you don't rotate them at all, it's still possible to get everything. Alright, so this is what I call the leap. There's a coin to my left, and you see a bunch of spikes down there at the bottom. Ideally, I will leap over there and not miss. And, let's go for it. Ah, didn't get it. Unfortunate. Well, so there goes 3 minutes. That sucks.
Whoa.
Rip world record. Oh, now we get to do this again. So now you see how difficult this part can be. There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna snag another save point by that location. Because I'll go for it again, and then if I miss it that time, then I'll just take the safer way of rotating the platforms. But I did account for that. Yeah, I got like a couple minutes to get back to where I was, so if you want to read some like incentives or anything, give some updates, that's probably a good time to do it.
Alrighty. We do still have some amazing goals that we're trying to reach here. We have Freedom Planet done with a Guitar Hero controller that we're trying to get up to.
That sounds great.
Right? That sounds crazy. But the one I'm still really excited for is the Splatoon Any Percent with a dance pad, which I just can't comprehend how that would even work. So, yeah, this just sounds like a crazy time. So let's try and make sure that we get that and raise some more money for the pandas.
Okay.
Also,
Alright.
because I think I forgot to mention it on stream, we did meet our social media incentive to see Stormy and Scent. So, great job getting that out there.
Alright, so we're back to the leap. Let's see if it goes a little better this time. And I snagged a save point closer to here, so hopefully it'll be okay. Hey, we got it. Okay. Wish I could have gotten it on the first try. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. Second try is not so bad. I just have to say that you don't know how difficult that is until you try it yourself. It doesn't look that hard, but it really is. I promise. Okay, so the rest of this level, there's a green keystone that's kind of chilling out in the middle of all these hot coals, and you can actually reach it. It's hidden back there. You can get to it, but you can't get back safely. So I'm sure that someday we'll figure out a way to get it and return safely, and that'll help any percent probably a bit. Because with any percent, you still have to go up here like I'm about to do. We kind of go up the back way and cheat a little bit. But there's a switch you're going to hit up here that will make some blocks fall, and for some reason the blocks falling cools down the hot coals. I don't really get it, but anyway. Alright, and we're going to try and get, just for swag purposes, we're going to try and get this water bubble during this cutscene. Maybe? Oh, unfortunate. If you get your head on top of that little box that pops up, then that block is going crazy down there. What are you doing? I've never seen that before. There are sometimes the physics of this game go a little... I've never seen that before. That's cool. Oops. Yeah, sometimes those blocks fall perfectly fine, and you have to sit there and wait a little bit because the cutscene has a set time for it. I guess it's to account for weird stuff like that, because one of those blocks was like, I must go to my people, and left.
Not bad. Nope.
My dog's got a squeaky toy.
Anything but that for.
Alright, so here we have Cinder. It's going to show up here. And give us our third little piece of rock. This one's reddish. And we get more crazy red eyes. What is this? What is this thing?
It's definitely not foreshadowing.
It's definitely not. Nope. Okay, so we're on the final 3 levels here. I don't know why the developers made the last realm only have 3 levels instead of 4, but I don't know if they ran out of ideas or ran out of time or something, but here we have the wind realm, Blowy's realm, and we have this new mechanic, wind, where you have updrafts where Doodle can carry you across if you're on these reddish pinkish platforms, like that. And we'll also have crosswind that's going to really mess up the angle that you need to go into bamboo and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's 3 levels. Speed running, that's faster.
I'm trying to make a windmill cycle here. Pretty sure I got it. Yeah, we want this one to be coming down. And hopefully... Hopefully I can get up to this coin correctly. If I time this right, I can get that and get all the way back onto that one. Nope.
Oh, yeah, timing is missed.
Yeah. A little slow getting on that, or a little imprecise. Oh no! I was supposed to make that. Well, we can do some cool little windmill traversing here then. And this is our last rotating switch in the game, so yay! We don't like rotating switches. But this one opens up this door that has a coin hidden in there. And here we get introduced to Crosswind. And yes, Doodle is correct. We will get blown away if we're not careful. So, yeah, so for this, I'm just going to chill out right here. I can slither up to another part, but with the wind, I need to grab this and hang on long enough to get out of the wind current so I can get over here to grab that. And if I try to essentially go up to a different windmill vein, then it will mess up my ability to get to that coin. So now with the now with that door opened up, I can grab this coin and get down here. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I couldn't. I was testing that earlier. Well, that was a lot of time lost, I'm sorry. I've never died there, but I know from earlier testing that I can't save that, unfortunately. So let's do this again. Woohoo! Come on, let's get it. Just gotta touch it with your nose. That's it. This is actually the easiest of the final 5 levels, and I still died on it. Okay, so now let's be a little careful going down here, apparently. Alright, that's better. camera. Sometimes it just gets behind something and you're like, I cannot see where I am at all. I said earlier, like in level 4, about how you don't have possession of keystones until they hit your inventory. This is another example. This this pillar is supposed to go down once you collect that keystone, but it doesn't until it pops up on the screen there. So that's just another little confirmation about how you gotta wait on those. We got something hidden behind here. This tree is always like, hi, I'm a tree. It's all up in the way. Hi, tree. Everyone say hi to the tree. Okay, so here we have a crosswind with some vertical little bamboo poles there. That crosswind is like puny baby wind compared to what we get later, but that introduces you to the idea of, oh, you might need to stabilize yourself going across tiny bridges that have wind on them. 'Cause that will definitely come into play a little bit later. Oh, come on. There we go.
Whoa.
Okay, we got 2 more wisps to snag, and we'll be out of this level. So the next level, I personally have the most trouble with level 12 because of that one, just because of that one trick that loses so much time if you miss it. But probably from top to bottom, the hardest level for both any percent and for 100% is the one coming up. The design of the level is there's like a central hub, and the hub has 3 different branches going off of it, and there's a keystone at the end of each branch. With any percent, there is a way to get to the end of each of those hubs without having to go through all of it, but the setup for it is pretty difficult. I'm going to do one of those because it's faster to go through that particular section backwards than the other ones. And so we're going to start by going up to this pillar, or archway. Trying to get on top of it. Okay, and once I'm up here, I'm going to turn around and leap to the end of this section. And now I can snag this keystone and do this whole section backwards. I gotta wait on this thing to rotate around for me. That's not good. Can I save it? Yeah! I didn't expect to save that. Not out of the woods yet, though. Oh no! Unfortunate. That sucks. So we get to do that again. I mean, this is just a testament to how difficult this game is. It doesn't look that hard, maybe on the surface, but the controls are just really, really difficult to master. And if one thing goes wrong, it's like everything goes wrong. Save me, Noodle. Save me. Well, this is interesting. I'm going to see if I can save this. Because I touched that that platform up there earlier, even though I died, there's a wind cycle activated that I can maybe get. No. Well, this level doesn't normally go this badly.
It's the marathon curse.
Yeah, marathon curse. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, so now we're here. Because I died after collecting a keystone, there's going to be a glitch that's going to happen later that normally I don't have to talk about, but I guess I'll talk about it when it happens. Oh, we can make it. We can make it. Okay. That's what was supposed to happen earlier, was I was supposed to wrap around that, and then I can leap over to here. And I need to get on this as this part goes down. Because they were jerks and put a coin up here. How jerky they were. That was close. Oh, come on. Come on. You can do it, New. Okay. The case where I just gotta trust where I'm going because the camera just absolutely will not.
Whoa.
Okay, and now we can go up this little section here, abusing what I was saying earlier with the sloped walls. And I need to make sure this isn't good. Let's correct ourselves a little bit here. Okay, that should work. So I'm trying to get onto this far enough that way when I slide down the wind doesn't push me off completely. Alright, so there's that section. I think that's the hardest section, going either correctly or not correctly, so like backwards or forwards, but got that one out of the way. I'm gonna snag this because I don't trust myself. Wind was not playing nice there. This section is just awful if you are trying to play this game like for your first time. And all of that is over spikes, so you have 6 of those in a row, and if you mess up one, then you just got to do it all over again. It's just like, why does this exist? Get on this, and we're coming up to the most difficult coin in the game. When I first played this, it took me close to 2 hours to get this one coin. Like, I could see it, I knew where it was, I knew what I needed to do, but the controls to actually pull it off were just beyond me at that time. We're gonna get up here. So here's going to be a glitch that's going to happen when I collect this keystone, so I'm going to go to the side a little bit. When you collect your 3rd keystone in this level, this platform raises up to take you to the end. But that's only my 2nd one to collect. But since I died, because I died earlier, I guess it's got a counter or something. It's like, oh, you collected 1 keystone, oh, you collected 2, now 3, and it just plays that cutscene. And they didn't really account for, well, what if you collect the same keystone twice? So this is what I think is the hardest coin in the game. You've got sloped bamboo, you've got moving bamboo, you've got spikes, and you're all dangled over nothing. So the precision to get this coin is kind of stupid, but I practiced it a whole lot, and so now I can get back safely, thankfully. So we got one more section to go, in this world, and then we'll have one more level after this. This is a decent cycle. So you need to get on the center platform. It looks like you can get that, and you're right, you can, but then you'll die afterwards. So I gotta wait for this platform to raise up so I can get on the center one. And my tail's gonna snag it down there. And then I gotta wait for it to come back up so I can leap to the end of this little area. This is my favorite point in the game. When I first started playing this game, I saw this coin down here, and I think I just started laughing, like out of hysteria, because I was like, "How are you supposed to get that? Why is this in the game?" But it's actually not bad to get, and I've got a pretty fast method to get it now, so it's turned into like laughably difficult coin to my favorite one to get. Mm. Oh yes, stairs are like the true final boss in this game. They're awful. I try to avoid them when all possible. We got water bubble hidden down there, and then we're gonna get another one on this rotating platform. Look. Okay. No. So there's two different methods that I can use to get across this upcoming bridge. Camera's going to pan out a little bit so you can kind of see. When you do the switch, it raises up these bamboo poles. Like I was saying, that theme from earlier where using bamboo poles to stop your momentum from crosswind on tiny bridges. Well, here we got it. We got it here. But there is a way to just leap across that without activating that switch. It saves about a second and is just way more difficult. So I used to do it and I died so many times to it that I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. If someone can beat me by 1 second, then I'll start doing it or something. But it's just not worth at this point in the life of this game speedrunning that you need to. Yeah, my sum of my PBs is like down to almost sub 126, and the world record's at 131. So there's a lot of improvement that can happen in this game, but the precision that you need for every single level is what makes it that difficult to get such a good time. And especially a death costs you a lot of time. But here we get to our final level. So, I definitely agree that this should be the final level, even though I think 14 is harder. This level design is really cool. So we immediately start with a narrow bridge with crosswind. There's a switch to my left that would raise some bamboo poles, but you know what? I don't want to use those, so I'm just gonna kind of hug the right side of this. Hopefully get this water bubble at the same time. Come on. Okay. And the crosswind kind of pushes me far enough to the left that I'm able to hug the right side of it and get across. That went a little sloppy because I missed the water bubble, but still went fine. We got more crosswind there just to slow all of our momentum down. Let's snag that just to be safe. Now we have a rotating bamboo over nothing with crosswind added in, so isn't that nice? We just keep ramping up the difficulty. And we're going to do a bird coil here. Normally you would get, there's a coin up here, and normally you'd get it a lot later. But we can do that and just kind of get it now, so we don't have to worry about it. And hey look, more crosswind and moving platforms over nothing. I'm noticing a theme. This one...
Oh.
Wow, that's weird. I kind of got caught in the crosswind there, and it's killed all of my horizontal momentum. That's unfortunate. One thing about practicing this game, especially for 100%, is once you collect an item, I mean, it's collected. You can't, like, beat level 7 and then go back and say, I want to practice 100%, and look, all the items are gone because you collected them. So it's hard to practice your routing to make sure you're getting everything. Let's do this again. Okay, this is a little better setup. Okay, that went alright. And this wind is not fun. So when you're being carried across these, you can hit the button to call Doodle, and he'll just drop you wherever you are, and you have to use that to get that coin. That's really the only place where you need to know that. Okay, got that one. Good. Okay. Okay. Here we have another little wall that we can just kind of go up the side of, aided by that corner. And that skips us having to worry about this wind cycle right here. There's a door that opens and closes and lets wind over that, and you guessed it, there was a narrow bridge there. So that skips having to worry about that. This used to be my least favorite keystone in the game, coming up here. Because I died so many times trying to get this, finding a consistent way to get it because of this crosswind. But that way seems to be pretty consistent for me, getting it from the side, and then just letting my body fall into the rest. Are we going to make this cycle? It's going to be close. Okay, made that. Gonna make it across here. Perfect. Alright, so now, now that I'm up here, there's a coin. Well, let me make sure I don't die first. I died. I have no words now.
Big oof.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's a safe point pretty close to that, so it's not too bad. Alright, so let's do this again. We want to get up here, snag that, and get up to this. Okay. There's a coin that's hidden underneath us, and you're supposed to get it and come out of this window, but you can just kind of get it this way. Never had the camera go in here with me. And then after we get that, we can come back down here and go back up the intended way. And that is actually the last really difficult part of this run, is traversing up here. The rest, ideally, shouldn't be any problem. But because of the way the rest of this run's gone, I'm going to snag this save point just in case. I'm going to go back behind here. There's a wind cycle that you have to wait on, and by going back here, it makes it a lot more consistent whether you need it or not. And this platform will take us over here. Alright, almost done. I'm gonna snag one more checkpoint just because. But the ending of this level is really cool. You got this really strong crosswind here, and you're gonna ride it all the way to the last keystone that we need. For that, I need to get up here and snag this item. And I'm gonna really hope that I don't miss this water bubble, because if I miss it, I can't do anything about it. Alright, good. I just have to kill myself. Okay, so we got that. And we need this. Loop down here. And that's our last water bubble, and we got one more coin that exists on this updraft up here. So you can't just go straight there to the platform, or you can go up one more level and there's the last coin. Yeah. So we're gonna have one final cutscene with the Guardian, and after that Guardian cutscene, I'm gonna go into the portal, and then when the inventory screen pops up for this level, that'll be time. So I'll let you know when that happens. Awesome. Okay. So I put it at 140. So thankfully, it looks like we'll be under estimate. But like I said, it did account for missing the leap and time. Yeah, so that did account for missing the leap in that one level, and a few other random deaths scattered in there.
Yeah, great job making it under time.
Alrighty, well, that's it for me. So I guess I'll stop my stream, and thank you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.